Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Donkey Punch back at you with another episode. And in this episode, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do a Hogowiwi on a max or near max Town Hall 9. Whenever you're 3-star in a base, there's 6 steps that you have to go through. First, you have to choose the correct strategy for the base that you want to attack. Secondly, you need to just figure out how you're going to funnel. Thirdly, your wall breaker entry. Next, you need to figure out how you're going to deal with the CC troops. Fifth is proper execution of your attack. And lastly, your cleanup. Alright, so since this was a cleanup attack, let's see what kind of information that we can figure out from the first attack and try to use that to the best of our advantage. Here he tries to do a shattered Hogo. And what we're looking for is mostly big bomb locations, contents of Clan Castle, and Tesla locations. Okay, so we've already figured out right here. We got a big bomb here, Tesla here, and a Hound and a CC. Alright, so let's continue on. That ended up being a double big bomb. It looks like he's got ground skelly traps that are placed near the Archer Queen. Both sets are set to ground near the Archer Queen. And it looks like that Hound is giving him a lot of trouble. You can see that Hound is literally occupying his queen for the entire raid right there. His queen hasn't done anything except for entry. He's got some mini bombs down there in front of the BK. And from the way he deployed his hogs, they ended up splitting on him, going to 3 different ways right here. Very smart there, going ahead and deploying his cleanup wizard. They're going to try to get down some of those high HP storages. You got one more big bomb over here. I still have not seen the 4th big bomb. And so I know that there's a 3rd big bomb here. Tesla, and there was a hog that passed across here, so there wasn't a big bomb there. So I really don't know where the 4th big bomb is. We're just gonna have to figure out that during the raid. Alright, so let's back out of here. Clean all that up, turn that off. Now here's what I'm seeing. When I did this attack, it was actually the 3rd attack on this base. The first attack was the one that you just watched there by J. Cruz, where he brought a shattered Goho. The 3rd attack was by Drix, and he brought a stoned Goho. And pretty much it was the exact same attack by both of them. Wasn't a lot of variation really at all. But the biggest thing that I wanted to point out was that was the Hound coming out of the CC. On both of those raids, the Hound coming out of the CC I think was kind of the deal breaker. Well, that and also were their hogs. When they came here, they kind of split. Like some of them came through here, some of them came through here, and then they tried both of them. Like they tried to keep up the hogs alive through here. But with the split, everything over here died. Not the defenses that went down. The defenses did not go down, but all the hogs that came over died, and then they just didn't have enough momentum to get through the rest of this. And then the queen, because of the Hound, like I say, was distracted the entire raid. So J. Cruz has combined level, I think, 43 heroes. Um, Drix has combined level 38, and I have combined level 33 heroes. So if their queens weren't able to get through that hound effectively, then I knew that mine wasn't going to be able to either. So using either one of those strategies was not going to work for me, and which also meant that doing a lava lunion was out of the question. To me right now, with loons and hounds in the CC, going against a max, I'm not with the level of heroes that I have currently. I'm not going to attempt doing a lava lunion on a max base, simply because if you have loons in your CC, they're going to be able to take out your king and your golem too fast to be able to meet your objectives. Like if I were to try to come in here and take out this and the queen with one one golem, just not gonna happen. And either with loons it taking out my king too fast, or with hounds distracting my queen for the entire raid. Simply I can't afford that. So any type of lava lunion was kind of out of the question to me. So my next thing that kind of came to mind was Valks, because I do love my redheads. But the thing was, I really, unless like I'm getting 2 double big bomb spots, and in order to do something like that, I would have to unless I'm taking out 2 double big bomb spots, I'm probably not gonna want to use Valks on this base, because I'd have to use 2 jumps, and it's just not worth it to me. I'd like to have at least 1 heal for my hogs, because to do Valks on this base, it would be pretty difficult. Like, you'd have to come in here, jump here, let them get into the core, and then put another jump back here, because you know there's another bomb here and bombs here. That's probably how I would come through this base with Valks. So you literally eliminate all of this, but then you have 2 wizard towers in this section over here and no heals, which isn't that bad. I don't know. When I was just looking at it, I just didn't really feel the Valks. So really, the thing that came to mind to me was the Hogowiwi, simply because and just make because like I said, with the Valks, I think why it didn't really work for me is because you're trying to take out too much of the base. You're overworking what you're going in there with. The probability of that working out for you just isn't that high. There's just too much going on, too many variables for something like that to be able to work out. So I wanted to limit my goals. Well, I didn't want that to happen. Alright, let's bring this back up real quick. So I wanted to, like I say, I wanted to limit my goals. I wanted to get the queen. Let me turn this back on. I wanted to get the queen, and then I wanted to get the expo so that my hogs wouldn't split like they did on the first year raids. I wanted to eliminate this double big bomb, and I wanted to get the king. And so in order to do that, I decided that Hogowiwi would, because the queen would be distracted by the hound, but my Freddies or whatever from the witches would be able. They would actually be the ones in there working. The Freddies and the king. All right, so that's what I was counting on to do the work. So what I decided to do was to come in from this angle right here, because then I'm able to jump right here. I get into 3 compartments, able to get everything out of those 3 compartments. So I get small bombs here, I get big bombs here, I get queen, I get expo, and I get the king. A lot of people forget getting king on a hog raid, but to me it's almost as important as getting your queen. Just and I'll talk more about that later. But so anyway, that was my plan coming into this. Well, next I decided that I needed to how I wanted to funnel. Now my plan on the funnel was a golem on each side of here. Basically I wanted this golem tanking here and here, and I wanted the golem on this side to tank from here, here, and here. Alright, and unfortunately neither way would it attract this mortar, but I wasn't that worried about the mortar. And then I wanted to send my wall breakers right down the middle. This way I ensure that both of my golems get into the core, because I knew on this, max space like this, you can't afford not having your golems go into the core. Now, as far as my wizards funneling, I was looking at, I wanted this storage to go down over here, and I see a lot of people, you just simply drop 2 wizards on there. But I decided that if I put 2 wizards on here, they would simply start walking down that way, and I didn't want that to happen. So I put 1 here, and then I put 2 on that camp. Now camp is pretty low HP, and I knew it would go down fast. And I also put 1 here. So pretty much I wanted to clear this out and the camp, and that way it let my wizards clear all of this for me. Alright, and then on this side, I didn't really have an opportunity like that, so I just went ahead and put 2 wizards here. The drill's a little bit higher XP, so you're going to get this one working on it, this one take out the barracks, and he's going to go over here and help with that, and then they're probably just going to walk off and die. And then I wanted to have my queen come in here and work out the rest of these buildings. And as soon as I get that all started, my wall breakers go in, then my witches, then my king. So that's the game plan on my my funneling and my wizard and my wall breakers. So the next thing that I had to figure out was how I was going to deal with the CC troop. And the CC troop was pretty simple. Since it was a hound, and I knew that the queen would be tanking it pretty much the entire raid. So my plan was either the hound to get attached on to like one of the Freddies or one of the golems, and the queen to be tanking it, and I was going to put a rage spell down here, and that's going to allow my Freddies and everybody to work, and that's going to get rid of that that hound out of there. Now next, proper execution, or game planning, I guess. So kind of my theory on every time I do a hog raid is I know I'm going to get the queen, but and I'd planned to get the king, but my plan was if the king didn't go down, that's where I wanted to end the raid. Because if you start your raid or going around this way, what happens is your king follows you around the entire base. Just simply, knocking off hogs here and there, here and there. And I didn't want that to happen. What I want to happen is start my raid coming this way. I'm not liking this reloading game thing. Hold on here just a second. Hopefully this won't take me too long. Well, that's not where we need to be. Or maybe it is. Okay, sorry about that once again. So anyway, if you come around this way, I knew that my heal spots, like I could get these first few defenses taken out with no heals because they're going to be distracted by the stuff in the core, and then I'm probably going to need my first heal coming up on this wizard tower. And then my second heal, I kind of wanted, I got this expo, I got a wizard tower, and I got a bomb. And so I kind of wanted to get that entire area right there. just covering the bomb, just covering the expo, and just touching the wizard tower. Alright, and that way, when I get over here, if the king is still alive, my hogs are still at full health. They only have maybe, you know, 1 or 2 more defenses, and then they latch onto the king and take him out. You know, instead of, you know, him following them all the way around and picking off hogs 1 or 2 there, here and there. Alright, I didn't want that to happen. So when I figured out kind of the pathing, the next thing I had to do for my surgical hog was figure out how many hogs I was going to send to where. And I think I ended up with, well, let me start the replay so I can tell you exactly and I don't have to think about it too much. Alright, ended up with 22 hogs. And the way I came to 22 hogs is that I knew that at each of these wizard towers, let me get rid of all that extra junk. At each of the wizard towers here, I wanted a giant. Usually, I say if you have 3-point defenses or a wizard tower, that's where you want to place your giant. So basically, I just went with the 3 wizard towers. And that was just, you know, the easiest way to go about it. And then I'm hoping that, like, you know, you're getting fire from like an archer tower, wizard tower, mortar. You know, over here, archer tower, wizard tower, mortar. You know, archer tower. Same thing over here. You know, you're getting multiple defenses. All right, so you want to make sure you get your money's worth on your giant. Don't just send it, you know, at a single archer tower or an archer tower. It's not worth it. Make sure you're getting multiple defenses worth. Get your money's worth out of that troop space. Alright, so kind of my plan here was to start my surgical, because here's kind of where I'm hoping that my kill squad takes out, so the rest has to be carried off by my surgical. And then, so I needed 3 to the arch. So basically what I did is I figured I had 22 hogs. I figured 3 hogs per defense. So I just said, alright, I'm going to send 3 hogs to the first 6 defenses, and then 4 hogs to the last one. And so kind of what I did, I just said 3 to the archer tower. Well, first off, I got a giant coming in here. 3 to the archer tower. 3 to the wizard tower, 3 to the cannon, and on these corners they're a little bit tough to get to, especially when you're going fast during a raid. So it was kind of like, you know, if it goes to the mortar, if it goes to the wizard tower, if it goes to the cannon, whatever, I'm not worried about it. That's just kind of how I'm going to deploy it. 3 to this archer tower here. Well, actually, let me go back. So after I get the first part started, it's giant right in here. Start tanking. Actually, it was more like in here. And then I'm going 3 again, 3 again, 3 again. And that's my first 6 defenses that I'm sending stuff to. By this time, it's going to be time to heal. And then on this side, my next defense that I'm coming to is going to be my wizard tower. So as soon as I drop that heal, I want to drop a giant to tank. And then I'm sending in 3 more, my last 4 hogs right there to go ahead and get rid of that wizard tower. Because wizard towers pretty much the most, you know, the hardest thing on your hogs that you have to worry about. And then my second heal, like I talked about earlier, that was going to go down after I sent in that giant and the last 4 hogs. And then by then, hopefully I only have like 1 or 2 defenses. And if I have to deal with the king, then I will. But after that, you got hogs just coming out of heal, and they're right there on the king. The king is not chasing them the entire time. All right, and then so proper execution. Next is cleanup. So hopefully in the middle of this, you can see I brought 8 wizards. Only using 6 for my entry point. So that's going to leave me 2. Usually, since I think like over here was the end of my funnel, so I'm going to start probably my first cleanup wizard there to start working his way around here. And then I have a high HP item right here. I'm going to go ahead and drop one there. And then I have several collectors along here, with the DE drill being the highest HP, so that's where I'm going to send my goblins. Alright, and then I'm going to get those down as soon as possible. And then you'll see contemplated here on this poison spell, because I kind of knew, like, I wanted to use the poison spell for the pups that popped on the hound, but I also kind of knew that by the time that hog popped, I was going to be busy doing, or by the time that the hound popped, I was going to be busy doing the hog part of the raid, and might not be able to drop it. I'm just going to be busy with everything else, so I'm not going to see it. So I thought about bringing in a haste right there. And just to kind of get me through those first, well, I'm not liking this because I'm touching the screen pretty often. I don't know why I'm keeping reloading here. That's alright. Only takes me a second to get back to it here. So, but yeah, I was contemplating here bringing a haste, and basically I wanted to get over this area right here, get those first defenses down just as soon as possible. But I ended up staying with the poison because I was like, well, if the queen doesn't get all the pups down, I don't want to have pups still up chasing around my hogs. So I ended up going ahead and sticking with it and keeping the poison. Alright, so that was why I chose that strategy for that base, how I decided to funnel it, why and where I decided to send my wall breakers, how I was going to deal with the CC troops, how I planned on executing the surgical part of the raid, and lastly the cleanup. And one thing I don't know if I really hit is why I wanted to surgical it instead of, like, I could have just done like a 2-finger drop. But on that, the problem that I find with that is the whole reason that you do surgical is that because you have, if your hogs are grouped up, then you have multiple defenses all firing at your whole group. Where as if you send in surgical all the way around your base, then you're taking all these defenses out, maybe not simultaneously because it takes a little while for them to get working and everything else, but you're taking them out faster. So overall, your hogs are taking less damage and you need less heals for them, because I only have 2 heal spells and I have a large portion of the base because I want to start from that archer tower and come all the way back over here to that AD. That's my plan for all the stuff I want to take out from the hogs. So the only way that I would be able to do that is with a surgical. If I went in with just like a 2-finger drop from here, coming in this way, my hogs would start to flutter out because they would just simply be taking too much DPS and they wouldn't get the job done fast enough, which would kill off my entire kill squad. Because optimally, you want some, if not most, of your kill squad left over to help you out with cleanup in the end of the raid. Alright, now as you're going to be able to see, this raid actually happens pretty quick because of this. It's only a 2-minute, 10-second raid, so let's go ahead and get into the raid, see what happens here. My first golem, he goes a little bit off, and I was worried and I wanted him to go like right here, and I was a little bit worried about that because sometimes they have a problem repathing. Like my wall breakers, I wanted to go in there, and sometimes they have a little bit problem repathing until you get this cannon down. But I just got a little bit lucky this time, and he ended up repathing right away without that cannon having to go down. Alright, second golem in, and my next 2 wizards go in, then my queen. And you can see here, my wizards right here, they worked out perfectly. The one that I thought was going to walk went ahead and walked. But these 2, and then actually this 3rd one ends up coming over, and I end up with like 3 wizards there. Unfortunately, one of them gets taken out from the splash damage from that wizard tower, but they end up taking out both these defenses for me. So not only do I have them funneling, they're taking out those defenses for me, which is why I brought, 6 wizards there to funnel instead, where I could have just used 4. Alright, witches down, get those witches down in front of your king so those Freddies are running in front of your king. With same concept as the golems, so the defenses start targeting your Freddies instead of your king. Alright, from here, it's pretty simple. As soon as that queen got down, kind of things got started, drop my first golem up top. Then just surgical hogs coming in. Once again, same thing here on the other side. First hog up, he's distracting defenses, and hogs go in. Alright, now I let this work for a second, get ready for that heal, drop my heal. Perfect. Everything's kind of working in there, and just let that work for a second, everything kind of catch up, drop my next heal. And I was a little bit slow on this last part. I actually wanted to drop that last. Or I actually wanted to get that down before I dropped my heal, but I think I got distracted. I was kind of like hitting my queen ability or something there for a second, so I kind of, a little bit slow getting on, sending in my last giant and last 4 hogs. Now you can see here though, this last bomb popped right there. That was the 4th bomb. The other 2 replays, it never showed itself, it never popped. And I just didn't expect a double big bomb there, because there wasn't, it's useless. The way it worked out, my hogs pathed from whatever was here to the expo there, and then up to the archer tower. So I only lost, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hogs, like, because there was like 3 or 4 hogs that pathed from whatever defense was there straight to the archer tower. But the majority of them, I had a couple of them that split off and went to that sweeper. So that's these 2 or 3 coming over right here, and the rest broke down there to the expo, and then they came up here to the archer tower. So that double big bomb right there was completely useless, and so it didn't really affect my raid either way. I think I lost 3 or 4 hogs right there. And as you can see, everything with the raid, with the kill squad, went perfectly. I mean, the only thing that I might have liked to seen is, my king and both witches still living. But, life isn't always like, sugar plums and gumdrops, I guess, is that the saying? But you can see here, I still got, I dropped my wizards just where I wanted to get the funnel started. I got my goblins in there, they're doing work, and I still got like a dozen hogs left. I mean, this is, I totally destroyed this base. There wasn't plenty of time. Like you say, they're on the time is like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Plenty of troops left over. Queen's still up. And I mean, this is a pretty, well, I mean, what were the heroes? The heroes were like combined level, 45, and 75% lava walls. So not a entirely max base, but pretty, getting pretty much there. And I was able to take that out. So anyway, I hope that you can use the things that you learned here and apply them to your raids. But just go over those 6 things whenever you're playing in your raid. Choosing the right attack for your raid, based on the layout of the raid, based on prior replays, based on what's in the CC and what you're comfortable with, and then also based on your hero strength. And so after you figure out what strategy we're going to use, then you got to figure out your funneling, figure out where your wall breakers are going to go. You got to figure out how you're going to deal with the CC troops. then you have to plan the execution of the, not of the rest of the raid. Not just, figure out exactly where every single troop that you're going to go, where it's going to go, and why. And lastly, figure out where your cleanup troops are going to go um, before you start the raid, because you should already know like what parts are going to be free for you to go ahead and drop your cleanup troops before all your defenses are taken out, because you usually have a little time after you're done placing all your loons or all your hogs that you can go ahead and start putting down your cleanup troops to get them in there as early as possible. And so try to figure out exactly where you want to put them. Alright, so hopefully you can use these tips and tricks on your raids and make you a better clasher. So until next time, this is Donkey Punch signing out. Peace.